for Roads and Highways. He's a member of parliament for Adaklu and he's in the studio this morning. It must be a busy past 48 hours for you. Good morning.
Good morning, Bernard.
How are you doing?
I'm all right.
You've been in office since when?
About 6 months now.
Wow. I think you've been traveling because we haven't really seen you in the media as in face-to-face, even though we do see you in parliament. So what have you been doing since you took over?
Well, thank you very much, and I want to take the opportunity to thank you very much for once again allowing me to share this wonderful platform of yours, which brings credible news to all of us across the country, including Adaklu. And good morning to your colleagues at the studio. It's been years since I was here physically, and I'm very happy to be here. Yes, we started work knowing very well the road condition in our country. But once I became a minister, by the grace of God, through His Excellency the President, my marching orders were to take a closer look at what the condition is. So I attempted and went through the 16 regions with my directors.
Wow.
And it was tough.
You visited all 16 regions?
Yes, I did. And that gave a very good assessment of what the road condition is. So today, when I hear Ghanaians complain about the nature of roads at their backyard, I know exactly how they feel because I've seen some of them, and none of us is proud of those things. So we went around just gathering first-hand information on the condition across the country, and we identified great disparities in terms of condition of roads across the country. And part of the reset also means that we need to bridge the gap. We focused more on the major corridors in our country. So I keep saying that I couldn't have visited 276 constituencies. What I did was to go to every region and look at how that region connects to other regions and further to the national capital.
So the major arterials,
exactly,
as they call them.
Exactly. So for instance, we know for sure that on the Western Corridor, the road almost up to Wenchi is somehow okay. But from Wenchi to Wa, it's in a very terrible state.
Yeah.
What it means is that our folks at the Upper West region find it very difficult. So imagine if a farmer produces a lot and almost all the time, the largest consumers like you and I are densely populated in the south. But we expect those foodstuff to get to our grocery shops for us to buy. And then one sad corridor is the east-west corridor at the north, so Wa Bolga. In fact, I traveled on that road in 2011. Traveling on that road this year appears to me as if I was just there a few weeks ago. Nothing really has happened.
Since 2011?
Yes. You could drive for a couple of hours and hardly see anybody. And I keep telling people, the reason you don't see anybody is not because people are not around there, but because we have abandoned them. People have migrated away from there. And then when you take from Bolga all the way down to the eastern, towards Tamale, which was supposed to be done at least up to Alawale, Alubu, which was not done. And then the eastern corridor, if you were to be consuming yam today and others, chances are that it traveled on the eastern corridor because from Yendi and all those places that produce a lot of yam oti, that road is still in a very terrible state. I'm sure you are tired of hearing eastern corridor. Many years, it's still not completed.
Every year, oti damang.
Exactly.
Every budget.
Exactly. And then if you come to our, even Accra, look at the congestion in Accra. Assuming Accra, the ECOWAS highway is supposed to be going through Accra. That's Abidjan-Lagos corridor.
Yeah.
But that is still not in any good shape. So the idea is to see what we can do to work on those things. Then we could go to Kumasi, our second most important city, very populated, huge economic activities. Even traveling from Accra to Kumasi even this morning, is an issue, partly based on the situation we have around Ofankor. Then when you get to Kumasi itself, assuming you are not even actually going to Kumasi, but by the nature of the alignment of the road, you need to drive through to Kumasi to go to BA all the way to the north. It's a terrible situation. Then when you get to Tamale, one of the fastest growing cities in West Africa, the situation applies, the nature of the road. So across the country, there's huge deficit of work to be done, both maintenance and development. So
let me ask something. So what were you looking out for? Because you've been ranking member for the roads committee, so you obviously know the condition. Were you going around to compare what had been done to what had been promised, or just to ascertain for yourself, because now you are with the directors and therefore you can ask them questions? What was the basis for the trip?
Yes, okay. So what I did first was to have a stakeholder engagement with all the players. So I met contractors, I met consultants, I had a debate with all my agencies. I visited highways, I visited urban roads, I visited feeder roads in their own community. I met the staff, and I had, as you said, I've been around the road sector since 2013, 2014. So I have a good idea. But when you become a minister and you are told during transition that we have awarded 105 billion cedis worth of work, and there's an unpaid bill of, let's say, a GOG component of 21 billion and road fund 5 billion. Today, road fund bill is over 7 billion. How do you call it? GOG could be 30 billion. You would assume that, okay, we have done some work. Well, let me find out where we are so that we can build upon that. So it is about taking on from that, okay, somebody did some work, I'm coming to continue. Let me see where they've ended. That is what informed this, so that we can apply that based on the president's own reset agenda to improve the road condition, because he's already mentioned some specific roads we want to undertake to make sure the 24-hour economy and everything is given the needed attention. So it's both to ascertain for myself what we knew by hearing, and to compare what I had in front of me as what we have awarded and what we are paying for before I take any action. So it was a very, sobering exercise.
So on the basis of what had been promised by the previous government, what had been awarded of 105 billion, and what was due for payment, which initially was 21 billion GOG, 5 billion road fund, which is now 37. What did you see?
Well, I think the fact is that if we had significant improvement of roads around the country, we wouldn't be hearing the kind of agitation we are having across the country. The fact is that the road condition across the country is nothing any of us should be proud of. I agree that the previous government attempted on many occasions to improve. They had different programs, year of road 1, year of road 2, and others. But the bottom line is that many of those projects, as of the time I went around, the contractors were basically not even on site. They've awarded projects in 2020, the contractor never even stepped foot on site. They've awarded projects in 2020, 2021, 2022, 15% of the work done, and the contractors left site. Why? Because they raise certificates. We are unable to pay them, so they pack off. And road is hugely capital intensive. And I keep telling people, when you come to me, I want to be a contractor. I said, are you sure of what you want to do? Your 5 million Ghana cedi, it's 3 weeks, 4 weeks expenditure on site in terms of fuel and labor. And some of them actually feel, look, maybe this is not my place. But some people feel, they hear the numbers that this project is 100 million. So they think 100 million is the money you are transferring to your account as a profit. So it is a very challenging situation. Well, for me, it is something that we say.
Are you able to give me a percentage of the roads that you can say had been abandoned? Because you gave two categories. You said some were awarded, but the guy never went on site. Some were awarded, the guy started, raised a certificate, and he was not paid, therefore he left.
Yeah.
And then some were awarded, he's doing the work, maybe he's gotten to 50% or 70%, and then there's due payment. Yeah. It would be nice to know, because we cannot say that all the 10,000 kilometers of roads were not done, right? So it would be nice to give us a sense of more details.
More than 90% of road contractors are not on site.
More than 90% of the contractors
who
for which
had
105 billion
yes
contract was awarded.
Yes,
more than 90% were
yes.
not on site
Yes.
across the country.
Not when I say not on site, they are in possession of the site, but they are not doing any work because, in many cases, to be fair to them, they've done some work, raised certificate, expect that money to be paid so that they can continue with the work. And once it's not paid, some of them actually the money they use is through loans. They run out of cash, and then they basically just stay on site and do nothing, or basically abandon the site. Or some of them didn't even attempt to even start the work at all. Yep.
But fair enough. There are some specific routes that you mentioned that I think you said the Bolga to Savelugu Road, money had been paid to a contractor, but you said that either the work was not done or not finished. What's the real situation with that particular one?
Well, that particular stretch of road, in fact, it's got some bridges on it that anytime it rains, it's terrible. So we were supposed to reconstruct that all the way to Savelugu and hopefully all the way to Bolga, which is a very, very important road connecting south to the north and then maybe all the way to Burkina Faso, the eastern side of that country. It was a loan agreement that Parliament approved, I think $153 or so million. Normally when these things come to Parliament, is a turnkey project, as you know, design and build, which is the craze of what we were doing, and I have a few issues with that. And somehow the contract we use to create a relationship between ourselves as a country and the developers are such that it is very easy for the developer who actually, let's say, found the money from a fund in their country. In this case, it was an Indian Exim and then some banks' money. And then we write it into the contract that we give you, let's say, 15-20% mobilization. In this case, the mobilization was almost 30 billion. Interestingly, that contract says that after the contractor takes the money, after the contractor raises...
You mean 30 million?
Yes, 29 or 20, something like that.
$1
million.
Okay.
After the contractor takes that money and raises certificate number 2, most of the time, certificate number 1 is mobilization, if the contract requires mobilization. After a number of days, if the contractor if the state fails to honor the certificate, the contractor have the right to put in a request to terminate the contract. But this is a situation where the money comes from India. Just after payment of the how do you call it, the mobilization, Ghana declared itself bankrupt. So it is no fault of government to say that we can't pay you, because Ghana government was not actually paying you. You are paying yourselves through a facility in India. So under what circumstance should we say that, yes, we have given you, you have brought a contract, we have approved it for you, you took $30 million from your own country under the contract, and you raise the second certificate, the Indian bank says, we can't pay because you are bankrupt. And that is not the only company that stopped working. And then you want us to actually release you out of the contract for you to walk away with the $30 million. That is what the situation is. And I find that to be very challenging. And I say that the idea that contracts are formed is supposed to be protective of everybody. And I must commend the GHA, Ghana Highway Authority. They attempted to use the insurance on the money to give some level of restitution to us. And then we were blocked by a court order, not here, abroad.
So we've paid money to a company to do a road. Because we were declared bankrupt, we couldn't pay the next tranche. The company took the first tranche of money. Did they actually use it on the project, or they took it away? Well, we are not able to ascertain.
I traveled on that road. We were told that they claimed they did some maintenance works initially, but the actual road construction work never took place. And there's
and they were paid how much?
About $29 million.
This is the Tamale to Waliwali road.
Yeah, Savelugu to Waliwali.
And from the road you used,
yes,
you didn't see 29 million?
No. Not even. I haven't even seen $1 million work.
Worth of road.
Look, you just go to the yard of the contractor. Even to make it worse, this contractor attempted, after taking the money, moving their equipment out of the country to Guinea. And there's a letter on the file that says that Ghana Highway Authority was cautioning them that it is, because don't forget that the equipment that they had on site, which were not even, in my view, the combination and the quality and the quantity of equipment that you need to do that kind of work. So Ghana Highway Authority wrote a letter to them that cautioning them that it's in breach of the contract because the equipment were brought to the country through a parliamentary approval with tax waivers and everything. So until the contract is fully executed, those equipment, even Ghana has an interest in them because you didn't pay tax and other things on them. So I found it very, very sad. We've had engagements with foreign companies to do projects in this country and has been successful. This particular one, I thought the particular company, and we've got successful relationship with Indian companies and everything. We've done things. So this is not about India or anything. It's about this particular company and their attitude towards that project was not...
So are you going to get our money back or get them to come back and finish the road? Because if you're giving them 29 million and now we are no longer bankrupt, shouldn't the EXIM facility come back and shouldn't there be continuation of the project?
Well, we are working on that as we speak. I know there has been one engagement between my directors and them. There's supposed to be another one, but the Ministry of Finance, who is the main entity that ought to tell us whether we are going ahead or we are terminating, is doing some work. And when that work concludes, we shall call them back to see the way forward.
Is this situation you described an isolated case, or are there other serious cases like this?
It is not isolated at all. There are railway projects that have been awarded, mobilization paid. Not much is going on site. If you notice motorway to Central University, we used to call it Accra, how do you call it, to the K2,
so Aflow?
Accra to Aflow, phase 1, but it's just 17 kilometers.
So phase 1 ends where?
Just around Central University.
Okay,
yes. This happened around the same time. The contract, phase 1 was awarded to the contractor. The phase 1 is the service road, we call it the side roads. So basically, they're supposed to build on both sides of the road. When they complete, then we rehabilitate the main carriageway. As you know, that one also started and then got caught up in this same debt restructuring thing, and the contractor packed off site. And you saw me go in there encouraging them, at least keep the road motorable, because part of the contract and money available in the contract means that we pay you to maintain the road. The same applies to Shama Runabout, to Atimpoku. That contractor has been working somehow. But the bottom line is that where they are working is not the most important section.
In terms of traffic bottlenecks?
Exactly. The biggest problem is from Ashama all the way beyond Michelle Camp. But unfortunately, that is where they are not working. They are working around, Shy Hills. I doubt if you are going to Ho, which you go all the time, whether you ever have any problem with Shy Hills. Because, of course, that road was built many years ago by Ways and Freight Tag. Guess what? We've never done any maintenance. So it has outlived its usefulness. But that is why we want to do it. And I agree and I supported that loan. But somehow, the way that contract was formed, if you get to Ashama Runabout, there are huge pylons that are in the right of way. We wrote the contract and said that there's a start date and a completion date. And the responsibility to move the pylons out of the way was taken up as if it's government's responsibility. So those who formed the contract and had a start date and the completion date without making sure that we can remove the pylons. Today, those pylons, I'm told, we need to import from India. We haven't even identified where we are going to buy them, let alone know how much it's going to cost. Yet we expect the project to be completed. So the things we've done to ourselves in terms of what kind of contract we form cannot be blamed only on the developers. It has to be blamed on ourselves as well.
So this will be the technocrats who sign some of these agreements.
It goes all the way because not only technocrats, because technocrats actually would do. Minister policy. Job. Exactly. So it's a policy. If a technocrat tell you that we haven't yet gotten to a stage of contracting, but you said that we need to go to site. I doubt if they can defy you and say that we will not work on it. So it is not always the case that the technocrats have decided to make work difficult for the politician. That it is, they will do what you ask them to do.
So this is still the City Breakfast Show. We have a plan for the interview. I started with basically his minister's activities since he took over, so that we get a sense of the challenge he faces. Later on, Caleb and Francisca will go through the list of priority projects that you mentioned. And for those, we're going to ask you whether there's financing and then what timelines. But before we do that, I feel like there's still a few more general issues I need to deal with before I come there. And by the way, listeners, you can also send us your comments, 054-998-6996. Minister of Roads and Highways, Governs Kwame Agbodza, is our guest in the studio. All right. Now, it seems like there are three categories of roads. There's the extension, the list of projects under the OCC and IMF, which you are revamping.
Yes.
Then there's your 32 road projects
under the big push.
as your first phase big push.
Yeah.
Then there's around how many? 20 something?
About 13. That's 13 the abandoned roads
that
from,
you say were abandoned, but have not been. But let's deal with something your opposite number said. Yesterday I heard Mr. Sensu Bachi say that he doesn't understand why you want to focus on regions other than Greater Accra and Ashanti. What I heard you say last week was that Greater Accra, Ashanti, and Eastern have over 60% of our roads budget, and yet the other 13 regions didn't get the same share. Yesterday he was saying that, well, these regions are densely populated. They have more people, so they should have more roads. So what's your response to his? Because he believes that you cannot invest in roads on this scale and leave out Greater Accra, Ashanti.
Okay, I was very surprised, and yesterday he actually used the word, we build roads where people are, and colleagues took him on that we are Ghanaians are asking for roads where they are, and they are human beings. They are there.
I think he tried to withdraw that after the speaker's intervention.
Yes. He's a planner. He knows that one of the in planning. I did a little bit of planning as an architecture student. You know, we call something push-pull factors. Mm-hmm. One of the reasons when we all came from our villages to Accra, many people find it difficult to go back is because you have come to see that development is always centered in the big cities. So when you finish school, even if your parents are in the village and you call them and tell them, I'm coming back, finish school, I want to come back to the village, they'll probably tell you to stay where you are because there's not much opportunities here.
Okay.
So in planning, you deliberately take steps to bring the things that attract people to other places to where they are so they can stay and develop their areas.
Okay.
But to make it quite clear, yes, the population in Accra and Kumasi and Tamale is bigger than maybe Ho and other places, and we need to match the development with that. And we have an interchange in Accra. One interchange in Accra could have fixed a lot of connections between some district capitals and the regional capitals. And that district capital is where cocoa is, or that district is where cocoa is grown. That yam is grown. That rice is grown. So if you keep spending to make sure all the roads in Accra alone and Kumasi are fixed, you are actually undermining the spread of the economic opportunities to farmers. And I'm saying that the opportunities, the values that come from mining, farming, tourism, where the roads are not going, far outweighs the teeming number of people in Accra, some of which don't even have job, but there are jobs probably in the farming areas. So we need to create something I am calling equity in development of roads. So for instance, Eastern Corridor, all the way from, let's say, Basa to Damango, upon which maybe yam and other things will traverse all the way to Tama. That road is not complete. It's in a terrible state. Would it be wrong to say that we want to make a deliberate effort to say we are completing the Eastern Corridor, making sure that when you are traveling from Tamale, in fact, even as bad as that road is, if you start from Tema and somebody starts from Accra, going to Kumasi from Accra to Tamale, and then somebody starts from Tema, going to Tamale, you'll be surprised that even with that bad nature, the guy starting from Tema will take get to Tamale before.
So the shortest distance between
it is
the south and the north
it
is the
is
eastern corridor.
It is
not the central corridor.
No, it is, because if you did a bit of geography, you will see that
is.
you are going west instead of to be going north. That is what it is, and it means you consume more fuel, pollute more, and it's not of any value to you. The same way if you take the western corridor, maybe from Takrady all the way to Hamile. Now, maybe as I said, if you get to before you get to let's say Wenchi, it's not too bad. But from
Wenchi, I've used that road.
It is terrible. Look at, in fact, we have mining opportunities there. We have farming and other things all the way to Wa. So the decision to make sure our major corridors are fixed is just an economic decision. Fix Eastern Corridor, Western Corridor, and the Central Corridor as well, which is Accra, Kumasi.
So you reduce pressure on the Central Corridor.
Exactly.
Reduce the road crashes.
Exactly. And let's say you are in Bolga, you want to go to Wa. In fact, so from Togo to, let's say, Ivory Coast. You know how you have to do that journey now? You have to travel down south.
Are you saying if you are in northern Togo and going to Boaké and Côte d'Ivoire, you have to come through Kumasi or Accra? You can't do.
There are some connections and very weird. If you are looking on the map how the guy is driving, you realize that is we call it. They say the shortest distance between two places there as the crow flies. The crow will try to fly as straight as possible. But I know that is not the way. But the easiest way would have been to travel from Bolga to Wa.
So let me ask you. So you're saying that for you, the first priority should be the main arterials.
Yes.
Central Corridor, Eastern Corridor, Western Corridor. What about across?
Yes. So the first across East-West corridor we want to do, which I think is the most important, is the Bolga Wa.
Bolga to Wa.
Yes, that is the topmost.
Which is in a complete mess.
Yes, and guess what? We are beginning to have bigger volumes of trade between ourselves and our northern neighbors, Burkina Faso. Indeed, they use our ports as their port. So it is important we give them access, because the more, activities we have, the better for us. And it will probably dampen the tensions we have, because the more we interact, exactly, and then.
So the Bolga Wa is the one across East-West. Do you have any other East-West? Which is a priority.
Yes,
for you?
we need to work on the central one, which would go through Kumasi all the way to the middle part of Togo and then Burkina Faso.
So where would that start from? Where would that end?
I'm not, because that is the second phase of the consideration. I'm not too sure where the technical people will say.
So this one is not in the first list?
No, it's not.
What about the Aflow to Alubu?
Aflow to Alubu is what we call the Trans-ECOWAS Highway, and has been on the. In fact, that the vision was also, I'm told, birthed by President Mahama and Goodluck Jonathan and co. when they were in their other administrations. A section has been done already. So the Lagos section. So if you go to Lagos, driving all the way to the border between them and then I think their neighbors, you realize that they've done that already. But because it was part of the
Lagos to Benin,
it has been done.
Benin to Togo.
No, to an extent, but they have a standard by which it should be built. The Nigerians have done their part. The bulk of that road is in Ghana, which is over 500 kilometers. So you will realize that if you take the three countries, where it starts and ends, the biggest section is within Ghana. They have done a lot of work in studies and other things. So we are saying that President Mahama has already decided that as part of Big Push, we start. So that is why we want to build from Aflow all the way through Accra and do a detour. So do a loop around Accra instead of taking the traffic into Accra. Go all the way to Central Region, which is what the previous government have started in terms of the Kaswa, Winneba. And then we take it all the way to Alubu. So that is also on course.
So are you saying that you will not use the motorway, or you will use the motorway?
No, we don't need to use the motorway. In fact, by the time you use the motorway, you are directing the traffic back into Accra. So we need to do a detour at Chopoli, and in fact be at the back of Chopoli, and do, it's over 117 kilometers to do a complete detour. So it's a greenfield.
From what I see, when you are coming from Ada and you get to Dowenya,
yes,
there's a road that takes you to Afienya. That connects you to Dodowa.
Yes.
Is that what you want to use as the alternative, or you're going to
No.
You continue straight to Tema?
No, you don't come to Tema at all. That one is a new alignment. However, you mentioned Dowenya, Afienya to Dodowa. It is part of the phase one, simply because currently the way the road works is inefficient. assuming you are at Adenta, you want to go to Aflow, you are forced to still come to Accra Mall, and before you use the motorway. It creates the unnecessary traffic. But if you do the road between Dowenya, Afienya, and Dodowa, and the good thing is that the previous government have started Adenta to Dodowa, which has also been abandoned. So President Mahama's idea is that they've abandoned it because they haven't paid the contractor. Let's take it on as the second list of the big push you are talking about. Complete that. Then start a new project from Dodowa, Afienya, and Dowenya. Then you can easily connect that back to the eastern part, the western part of Accra. Then you can reduce. So you may not even see the level of traffic from Dowenya to the motorway, because half of the people using that road don't necessarily want to go into Accra. They are going to another part of Accra.